We are here with Drew, and again, I want to talk about the organization behind everything, because you're talking about this in this blog about creating some great content to put out on your blog, to put on your Twitter page. But the first and foremost thing that I get out of this and all of your other blogs is organization.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, that's a great topic to talk about.
Because you really want to put things together wisely to make sure that people are attracted to your business, attracted to what you're selling, and attracted to what you're saying.
Yeah, and what really is important to know is there isn't enough detail. Like, you can never have too much detail going into planning what, when we're talking about online content, whether it's literally a Facebook status update, a tweet, or even a blog post or a video. There isn't enough detail. You can never have enough detail going into this in the planning section and all of that.
Sure.
For all of our clients that we help out with social media stuff, we literally have above 2 weeks in advance every status update for Facebook, every tweet, every blog post. Everything is planned out in detail for, like, who's the target market for this post, what's the reason for this post, what time of the day is this post going to come out, which platform is this post coming out on. There's so many details that we have planned out at least 2 weeks in advance for every client, and that helps out. That helps because you're not just sitting at your computer in the morning thinking, okay, it's Monday, what am I going to say?
What am I going to say about this?
When you have everything planned out, you go to that content calendar, you're like, oh, Monday, this is what we're doing, boom, type it in, go.
Right. And I kind of liken your first point back to the old days when you scrapbooked and you take this clipping and put it over here, take this clipping and put it over here. That's what you're talking about when you're getting your thoughts together. Oh, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's take this idea and I can use it and maybe benefit my business as well.
Yeah, and just that's the first thing. You want to write things down, ideas that when they come to you, everything like that. I literally have a note on my iPhone where if I'm just driving and I think of a topic, boom, I put it in my iPhone in my blog topic ideas, something like that. Or, it's just keep those ideas fresh, but you're going to want to keep writing them down somewhere where you can go back later. Because before I did this whole list on my iPhone thing, I would think, oh, that would be cool. And then 2 days later, like, crap, what was that idea?
Sure.
So it's just important to, when those ideas come to your head, make sure you're writing those down somewhere where you can go back and, like, all right, here's the list of ideas I've had in the last week. Let's put those into action. Right,
because there's a lot of business models out there that people have used that are successful, and you can kind of, not necessarily steal, but kind of piggyback and create a model that works best for you.
Exactly. Yeah, so...
And that's a really cool way. And also, you were talking about outlines and things like that. Tell me a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so after you've got this list of ideas, whether it's for a blog post or something like that, make sure, and let's just say it's for a blog post and you've got one of them, which is, let's just use today's for example, to make great content. So we've got that blog post. You want to research as much as you possibly can about this topic. Check out other blog posts that are about it. Check out maybe some articles that have been written about it. Just make sure you've got that topic under control as much as possible in your brain before you actually start the writing process, just to save you time during that process of creation. So make sure the research has already happened. You've got notes on the research. You've got links that you can refer back to if you need to. Make sure you've got all of that as organized as possible before you actually start putting the pen to the paper or the finger to the key.
Sure. And that brings us to know your speed. And you were talking about characters per minute and making sure that you have an outlined time frame of when you're going to start posting. But after reading it, I kind of got to thinking about the same thing as well. Beyond, once the post is done, I like to go back to other blogs that you were talking about, read through and make sure that's what you want to say, because I'm one of those people that might think, oh, this is fantastic, then I sleep on it, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I want to change this. So would you kind of suggest that as well?
Yeah, so just after you do that research, like the outline that you mentioned, just make a quick little outline, whether you use Roman numerals or whether, it's just the big A, little a, whatever the outline is, and just plan what this post is going to be about, because if you have that outline, once again, it's going to make that writing process a lot easier, just because, everything's there, you just got to put in more sentences in between. But after that, just know your speed. So when you're scheduling this, like, let's say a blog post is supposed to be due by a Tuesday, just know that, well, if I start this, knowing my speed and how fast I can usually spit these things out, it needs to be done by Friday, and I can easily get that done. Or if you're really good, you can have it done by Monday, or anything like that. So just know your speed, know your skill level on that point, so you're not stressed at the last second, like this blog post is supposed to be up at Tuesday at noon. It's Tuesday at 10, and you're still not done.
But don't forget to factor in business, life, kids.
Exactly.
Work schedule, grocery store, got to go all these places.
Yeah, so just know your life, know your skills when it comes to writing and the whole content creation process. It's just so you're not stressed, because stress content usually turns into bad content.
Sure.
But planned, outlined, organized content, that's the stuff that wins.
And lastly, when you're talking about all of this information, it doesn't have to be really long. It doesn't have to be an essay. It doesn't have to be pages upon pages of information. It can be something as simple as a paragraph, right?
It's very true. You know, so I mean, whether it's a Facebook status or a tweet, I mean, obviously a tweet can't be longer than 140 characters. But, you know, a blog post, you know, the trend has been, you know, just maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs max, or even less than that. But we're actually seeing a newer trend where longer blog posts are what people are really enjoying, with more graphs put in, more imaging, but also a lot more words, a lot more information. Kind of like the ebooks are coming back. You know, ebooks came out when the whole internet content kind of first started. Then they dropped off, but they're making their way back. So whether it's a paragraph to 2 paragraph to 3 paragraph blog post, or maybe it's a 1,000 to 1,500 page ebook, or word ebook. That's a lot. 1,000 to 1,500 word ebook. Just make sure everything's planned out. I mean, don't underestimate it just because it's a blog post that's a paragraph long. That blog post should just get just as much attention as that huge ebook should.
Sure.
You know, just make sure it's still directed right at your target market, or your buyer persona that you're going after, or you know, just as much as that ebook would.
And lastly, I did have another question for you. Since Kokomo is a great community and we're all so close-knit, and it seems like everybody knows everybody and we're all connected, don't you feel like using maybe personal interaction with other people is important in some of these blog posts as well, or some of these information?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, I think case studies are a cool way of doing that. Let's say a company in Kokomo is doing a certain thing really well with internet marketing or just marketing in general. Use that company as a case study in a blog post, saying, hey, this is what they're doing and it's worked out really well for them. Here's some specific numbers on that.
Sure.
You know, so definitely Kokomo, that would be a great idea. You know, just to use specific companies, specific stories that are going on in the community.
Hey, Drew, if they want to get a hold of you, what do they do?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. At Mr. Drew Larison on Twitter is my personal Twitter, or you can follow us on Twitter at mywebsuccess. Or just our websuccessagency.com is our main website.
And he's on there all the time. So if you guys have questions, he has the answers. Check him out. I promise you won't be sorry.